and welcome to the WWE Monday Night Raw review. I'm Michael Hamflett from What Culture, joined by Michael Sidgwick from What Culture to tell you everything that happened on last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. But first, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to listen to What Culture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get them from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, for daily wrestling podcasts where we not only preview and review Monday Night Raw, but also Friday Night SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. And I've done the other ones first, but we also do, all the other stuff we do on podcasts, interviews, lists, all that good stuff. And we round up with a week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. I already hate this. Sidge, I didn't hate Monday Night Raw. It was very pleasing to me that with a solid 6 out of 10, the power is finally back. Thoughts?
I thought this is just absolute dirge. An absolutely rubbish set of draft shows to continue a less than ideal trend of very much C-level WWE post-WrestleMania programming. I am looking forward to burying various parts of it. I honestly got so little out of this show. Like, there was one moment that someone appeared like a real person and I was halfway happy for them. That happened. Action, storyline progression, promos, it was all pretty piss.
Disagree, but only partially, actually, in your defence. A weak...
You don't have to defend me, I'll do that myself.
A weak draft has concluded. Glad to see the back of it. And, bigger picture stuff, we'll get into the minutiae. Backlash France is this weekend.
Doesn't feel that way.
You wouldn't think so, would you?
Nope, no buzz.
Feels like the weakest pay-per-view build in a long time. But they were aiming to start off hot with WWE anyway, because Logan Paul rocks up at the start of Raw, the usual thing where you see people arriving, and he's with Patrick Mahomes from the Kansas City Chiefs. More on him later on, because he does factor into the stories. They bump into Damian Priest and the Judgment Day. Damian Priest and Patrick Mahomes exchange how great they are for the things they've won. And Logan Paul says he's looking forward to Damian Priest beating up the ugly of the Usos. So there's a little thing established for Jey Uso for later on. But Becky Lynch gets us going. She's explaining her history within the T-Mobile Center in Cairns, Ace City. It was where Nia Jax punched her in the face. Nia Jax punched her in the face, and it obviously began everything about the man and where she made history and all of that stuff. And then here she is as the champion all these years later. She's got the belt again. The Liv Morgan stuff might have been a bubble because she just got a massive babyface response here. So maybe apparently all this heat she was generating was just in people's echo chambers on Twitter. But out comes Liv Morgan nonetheless. She says that if Becky Lynch wants a new contender while Rhea Ripley's injured, I'm right here. I'm on the revenge tour.
Watch me.
I've got to get revenge on you. There is a Rhea Ripley chant, a mommy chant that breaks out at this point, so people are already looking forward to the day when Rhea returns. But the last thing Liv Morgan wants is to be handed a title shot, although she does feel like Becky Lynch kind of owes her one. She says that Becky's only the champion because Liv did what she couldn't, which was take out Rhea Ripley, obviously having lost to her at WrestleMania. It's Liv Morgan Revenge Tour, so it's inevitable that she'll beat Becky Lynch. Becky says, that's true, but I wouldn't be holding the title if I hadn't beaten you. So they've set up their little match down the road. They're interrupted by...
Their little match.
They're interrupted by Nia Jax, who's moving to SmackDown. That's why she's wearing blue, you idiots. Which I'm leaning at the heat.
You're the idiot.
Don't try and
it's
be...
for you.
I love Nia Jax doing it. I don't want her to be the babyface. So she's saying she's going to go off to SmackDown, but if we're handing out title shots, she'll take one along the way. She can get a title match against Bayley if she can win tonight. And the match is set up between Liv Morgan and Nia Jax for a number one contendership for either title. Liv sends Nia packing with a drop kick to end the segment. What are your thoughts on all of this? They're leading with it, I guess.
God damn it. I didn't think this was good at all. Like a promo train. The format itself, it has to be really strong, like promo-wise, for me to give half a toss. You described it as a little match. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Again, yet more exposition. Previously, in the entire history of the Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch feud, which, by the way, we already did earlier this year and would have recapped at the time. Previously, in this program. Not good. And, I've been reliably informed that Liv Morgan is a misused talent, a potential generational star who just needed TV time and all the rest of it. I cannot deal with the cadence and the delivery. And it's not because she's an effective heel in my head or from my point of view. You know what I was thinking about? Like, I feel sorry for these people, okay?
Okay.
But there are apparently people, there is a certain property of coriander that scans to some people as like a soapy taste.
All right.
And what a shame for those people.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for them, genuinely, because coriander is the goated herb. It's so versatile.
Goated herb sounds like a forum name you would use.
Yes, goated herb. I'm the best stoner. The best at smoking weed. I'm actually what you call a pro smoker. I knew people at university who referred to themselves at this. And I was like, what is there, a competition? You're a professional smoker?
Herb god.
Herb god.
Coriander's one of the ones that the Americans don't change the pronunciation of, isn't it? Other like Parmesan.
No, they do because they call it cilantro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was...
They call it cilantro.
Right.
So coriander, sorry if you're bemused, a bemused yank, means cilantro, okay?
Not oregano.
No, cilantro.
Right.
There are people who have this aversion. There's a property in coriander / cilantro that it scans to them and they receive it as like a soapy taste. And again, so versatile. It elevates and is fundamental to the flavor profiles of Indian, Chinese, and Mexican cuisine. It's
Okay.
I have coriander in my fridge at all times. It's amazing. But to some people,
I got Pepsi Max in mine.
okay. To some people, it's just soap, and they cannot reconcile that other people would think it would be nice. Liv Morgan's promo delivery is soap to me. It's just, I mean, I have an aversion to it.
Yeah.
Like an actual physical aversion to the cadence. I don't know what it is, because a lot of people, mainly online, rate her highly as this potential superstar and indeed this top star of WWE. There's something about her promo delivery style that I have an aversion to, and I think she's just soap to me. And obviously it's a me problem because she has a very loyal set of fans, and you know she's been in the mix, and people responded to her in this building as well. We can take her seriously opposite Becky Lynch. So she's got something, but this entire exposition heavy, recap heavy previously on this program promo train, I just thought was dire, flat and dire, and I was averse to it.
It does feel like we're going to be given a lot more of Liv Morgan this summer. Like that's what
So
I was
we're going to be watch her.
Watch her. It's not so much the promos for me; it's the matches. So it's one of each. There's something about it. We all hate, and
Hate's a strong word.
you sense there's going to be lots.
An aversion.
Yeah,
It's nice, apparently.
An aversion.
Yeah.
No, I don't like the matches. And I think
A lot of offense just looks very samey. I feel like you see one Liv Morgan match, you've seen them all.
she runs and does a thing, and then she picks herself
Runs
up
and does a thing. Runs and does a thing. There's very little struggle. There's very little in the way of really unique or different transitions or like pacing a match. Runs and does a thing. I mean, that's reductive, but it's not untrue.
I worry that we've attracted some of the angriest, most ardent fans on the internet. So let's just talk about somebody we can all agree is awful universally. Stephanie McMahon is back on Raw for the first time in a very long time, of course, having made her return of sorts
growler.
to WWE. Nobody knows what role she has in this company at this point, and maybe that's,
I think.
maybe that's for the best.
Guest star.
Yeah, and she was here to go through round one of the draft. We'll sort of have a quick nosy at these picks because I don't really want to review the matches because I'm not as good at Wilborn, so we'll review the draft picks instead.
I'll give you my thoughts on
In
the
a bit more
matches.
detail.
Preview,
Yeah.
thought very little of them.
Number one draft pick is Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, but Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser at Imperium for Raw. Jade Cargill was the number one draft pick for SmackDown. Go on.
Why am I watching it?
What? Why are you watching? What? Graphics come up and stuff.
Why am I watching Gunther? Oh, he's moving to Raw.
Oh, yeah.
And Jade Cargill is moving to the branch has been on. And by the way, they don't really adhere to this brand split for what about, I was 65% of the time they adhere to it.
Yeah. A lot of this draft has fallen really flat, and obviously they've just fancied doing it now. Like it used to be post WrestleMania because it sort of made sense because it was like who's going to get a push randomly or whatever. Now it does seem like it's because the NFL's got the draft, and WWE, interestingly, both WWE and AEW have attempted to gain publicity off the back of an NFL draft, and AEW have smoked WWE. Unexpectedly so. Like, Tony Khan's neck brace plan has worked, whereas WWE's ratings haven't improved as a result of trying to piggyback using the titling or anything. And that's been exposed because so few roster changes have actually occurred, and it just does make you realise they've just strapped the shows and all the draft branding just to try and get a bit of that. It's got to go, I think. Like, unless you're going to actually shake these rosters up, I love less wrestling and more graphics and podiums. Love it, me. Like, some multicoloured stuff. Bang into it. Like, take a match away and have somebody stand at a podium and do something interesting. This is not interesting.
I heard Bubba Ray Dudley talk last night.
This is not interesting. That's the problem. Like, there's so many better ways. I'd rather have the, like, random computer, and it's like, John Cena's just left SmackDown and now he's going back. Like, I'd have that back. I'd have that back over a match in a heartbeat, right? But this is just the worst thing.
That's what Todd Grisham.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Kane.
Imagine getting like Vic Joseph, but actually more on Booker T, the analyst later on. But
analyst.
That's what they call it. He was like there from an analytical point of view. And
an analyst. That's like calling a serial killer who starts to get a taste for it by killing animals a vet.
Well, he does a terrible job. More on that later. Raw also got, because I do need your takes, obviously Imperium Raw, Jay Cargill on SmackDown, huge moves. Raw gets Damage Couture and SmackDown keeps Kevin Owens. Thoughts?
Well, I tell you what, right? I know that the actual experience of watching some old-timer, and in some cases absolutely awful online presence, Mr. Dudley, basically just see how this person's staying where they've been. And this other guy's, he's staying where they've been. The odd move that they did make, I'd say there's no good way of doing this. I think conceptually the draft is a bad idea. Oh!
Yeah.
Down.
Balls in the tumbler.
Yeah, it just stinks. Because what are you going to do? Just swap everyone on the shows? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't, there's no good way of making this an entertaining bit of television.
You swap half. And then you create a bunch of new pairings. I've seen that as like people have used that as, but you can't do that with everybody because then it's just all the SmackDown wrestlers are on Raw and nobody's asking for that. Obviously.
So you want 50?
Yeah, like 50-50. Like Cody Rhodes has wrestled on Raw all this time. He's worked through everybody.
Yeah. I
want 6 new opponents. I don't think that's a lot to ask. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I've been the low guy on this. What we're talking about?
Just the draft being rubbish.
Yeah, it is rubbish. So Gunther, good news, guys. Staying where he is. Jay Cargill.
Yeah.
She's moving to the same place. I mean, it's just crap. It's just absolutely terrible television.
It was great on SmackDown because they had like the
legends. But then you go, oh my God, I remember him. Put that old broad to the table that time. Bubba Ray Dudley. Love that guy.
They had them.
She had it coming. And that's the kind of like, hey, I remember that guy. It's Bubba. Hey, how you doing, Bubba?
I said more cilantro. Yeah, like Bubba Ray.
He's not even a herb.
Bubba Ray would come out of the like thing with the gold envelope, like, and like every wrestler, every like legend. The reveal was for the pop.
Durian fruit.
So,
that's what Bubba Ray Dudley is.
Yeah. When Benjamin Richardson, formerly of this parish, brought some in. To the office. Bad day. Bad day. Yeah, they would come out of the office on SmackDown, and it's like they've just been in the war room. And they've got the trades in their envelope, and they would open up, and they'd be required to act. So like everyone would come out there and have to pull a face to the camera before they went out. So it's like, okay, let's go. And then they go out to the ring, and it's like,
okay, let's go.
Yeah, and then they go out to the ring. It's like, everybody's staying put. It's like, well, what were you reacting to? Like this, what are you selling shock for? Tell you what I was selling shock for. Gunther versus Xavier Woods, because some of the chops in this match, oh my God.
Yeah, this is probably the in-ring, well, almost certainly the in-ring highlight of the show. Undisputedly.
Gunther beat Xavier Woods half to death in this match, basically. It was sort of awesome because Gunther, obviously no longer Intercontinental Champion, drafted number 1 to Raw. So that you don't need to strap the rocket to him or anything, but they're letting you know that he's still the guy. He said last week he's going to win King of the Ring. And Xavier Woods was throwing his hat in the ring, but instead they're having this match this week. And the way they laid all of this out, again, I'm not going to recap like Wilborn does, but just Gunther chopped and hit and struck and bruised and beat down Xavier Woods, and you would get this tiny comeback, and then Gunther would just go, no, absolutely.
Nah.
I have excelled past your level. It's a great spot where basically they use the bottom and the middle rope to create like a Hiroshi Tanahashi dragon screw. Xavier Woods did like a flat back on the apron with his knee bent over, sold it brilliantly, like screaming in agony. Gunther just ran around the floor and started chopping at his leg. Kofi Kingston is like there, like obviously trying to help Xavier Woods, but at this point he's seeing that he's just getting decked. So he goes, he's got a towel, and he goes to throw the towel in, but Woods is saying, no, don't do it. I want to fight through it. The King of the Ring means something to me. You know, we know that about that character. So Kofi throws the towel out into the crowd. You think Woods this time is going to make the right comeback, but yet again, Gunther just chops the life out of him, traps him in yet another submission, like a proper STF basically in the ring. Woods has no choice but to tap, and they play this as if he may be potentially too injured to even enter the King of the Ring manual. So, like, Gunther is now taking out challengers before they even enter the tournament. I'm assuming Kofi is like Woods' avatar for the King of the Ring now. I think they're going to have Woods just be too injured. Like, I was going to say comedy neck brace, but that's been taken, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like crutches or something. Like, Gunther's taking people out of the tournament before they even enter, and maybe Kofi could make the final, and that's what this existed for, or something. I don't know.
Potentially. Look, this was the in-ring highlight and the overall highlight of the show. Xavier Woods continues to be an incredibly underrated babyface, a really good seller, really good sympathetic figure. He is so good, in fact. The nicest thing I can say about Xavier Woods is if he jumped ship to AEW at some point, Tony Khan would beat him every week for about 4 months.
Yeah.
Like, depreciating the value of the performer, like week on week. But the idea would be, he's great at getting people over. He would be number one on that Dynamite format sheet every single week. This is a really effective bit of business. You don't really need to reheat Gunther at this point. But he just looked like an animal that just left no mistake whatsoever. No, we still believe in him. He just simply had to lose the Intercontinental title at some point before we do even bigger things with him.
The pressure was on to sort of make him start feeling like a main event wrestler now that he's not got the belt, and I thought this was
He's been a main event wrestler for years and years and years.
But without a title now, like, I think there's a section of the audience that might not quite know how to take him, like, post-loss. And
well, that's the thing.
I just felt like this match really effectively showed the gulf between, like, because Woods is a great established WWE like upper mid carder, and the gulf between that upper mid carder and Gunther was made enormous.
Yes, no, I thought it was a really effective bit of booking and in-ring work, and I'm going to be bored for the rest of the podcast. But stick around. I don't know why. But
well, speaking of an effective bit of booking,
oh wait, actually, stick around. I've got the retention here.
All right, okay.
I conducted a scientific experiment throughout the show.
Interesting.
So I'm very much looking forward to announcing the results of that.
Well, speaking of science, we might be having some biology here, Sidge, because Jey Uso has been interviewed, and he says he thrives on the pressure, potentially fighting, obviously, Damian Priest and winning the title at Backlash. Logan Paul's obviously called him the ugly Uso, so Jey Uso simply fires back and says, we should have hired the Paul brother that actually wins all his matches and whatever. But in the background, because I don't know if you noticed, every now and then, right, Triple H kind of doesn't want you to watch in the foreground. He wants you to see what's going on in the background. Kind of a metaphor for how he thinks, how he operates. Always in the shadows. Liv Morgan leaves a room. There's a long corridor behind you. So Liv Morgan leaves a room. She starts walking away. Not 10 seconds later, Sidge, Dominic Mysterio leaves the room. What's happening in there?
Sex.
Full sex. Oh.
Sex.
It was certainly the implication. If not sex now, sex very soon.
Sex, imminent intercourse.
The imminent intercourse incoming.
That's 3.
There's no way to segue. This is just really nice. We go back to Raw, where Michael and Pat McAfee are showing clips of a child that was allowed to do the Welcome to Monday Night Raw thing along with a bunch of the Kansas City Chiefs, based on like an awful shooting that occurred when they won the Super Bowl. They were like happening in the parade, and then they cut to 2 of the players of the Chiefs who had actually tackled the gunman and saved it from being even worse. And it was just like actually earnestly nice. This. And that got ruined. The vibe completely got ruined because here comes Logan Paul and I Show Speed. They're the worst guys, aren't they? They are the worst.
There's worse guys, but I don't like them.
Within the context of WWE, I think they're
the fictional world. The fictional world of
WWE.
The fictional world.
They're proper heels because I hate them when they're on screen together. But they're here with the round 2 draft picks. The Punker is drafted to, check it out, Monday Night Raw.
I watched this. I was like, what am I doing? Why is this even happening?
Hold up there, Sid.
Do it online.
Because SmackDown gets the pride. So Bobby Lashley and Street Profits and B-Fab keep kicking ass on the blue.
You know, I've like redone the order somewhat so that someone who actually moved in the first round of draft picks. You can make it up.
Ask and you shall receive, because Monday Night Raw got Braun Strowman Wonder when he might make his comeback. And Tiffany Stratton is staying on SmackDown. Another eventful set of picks. Logan's made his...
trash?
Yeah, rubbish. Logan's made his picks. He's previously got, I should point out, Samantha Irvin to give Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl winner, like a big Samantha Irvin type
3 times now.
There you go. And establishes that they're friends, basically. So Patrick Mahomes is also a heel at this point.
So, right, let's talk about this.
Okay.
What do you guys want to talk about? This.
Patrick Mahomes.
This was in Kansas.
Yeah.
He's a demigod. This is the equivalent, right? This is the equivalent, Michael Hamflett.
I'm excited. I think I know where this is going.
Of a specific analogy for you.
Okay.
Of WWE, and boy, it must have went really wrong for them to do this. Doing a show in Sunderland.
Yeah.
Doing a show in Sunderland, right? And Niall Quinn comes out and he's a heel. It's the equivalent of WWE, in good financial health, coming to the glamour hotspot of the northeast of England, Newcastle upon Tyne.
Their business partners.
Here's Alan Shearer. Oh, by the way, he's a heel. What?
Did you?
I understand, right, that ultimately, if you're the rest of America, you probably respect Mahomes, but you're kind of gutted he doesn't play and win for your team.
Yeah.
So he's like he's the winner. No one likes too much like a winner.
2-time Super Bowl winner.
But
QB as well, so that's
he's like the star, he's the hot shot.
Yeah.
This makes sense to me. Why was he a heel in Kansas?
I mean, I don't know, but I found it to be somewhat effective because he came across like a massive arsehole. So and many of them do, I suppose. But I was left thinking here of the Shawn Michaels footage that was doing the rounds on X of, when he goes to the Blackburn Rovers. In 95, because he's there to promote possibly WrestleMania, and they're doing pretty well, it sounds like. I want to see...
But they're Blackburn, not the Fed.
No. Business was good in Blackburn, it was not good in the Fed.
Was that the title winning season, 94, 95?
Yeah, it would have been.
Shiva.
But it wasn't title winning season for Shawn Michaels, of course. He would lose at WrestleMania to Big Daddy Cool Diesel. But Shawn's there to see the Blackburn Rovers, and want to see Mr. Shearer score maybe a few goals. Maybe get to 35 goal count for the season. Put your sunglasses on, Sean. Your eyes are going everywhere, mate. And not like they would in the future. So Patrick Mahomes has been established as this heel arsehole friend of Logan Paul. They've got some sort of history together. And now the Logan Paul, Jey Uso needling at each other is going to make its way to the ring. Logan Paul suggests that Jey Uso doesn't stand a chance against Damian Priest. He's made a mistake leaving the bloodline. He can't be a champion on his own. He can't do it by himself. He needs a group. I know all about having lots of friends, and here's some friends right now. Here comes the Judgment Day B team. It's Finn Balor, JD McDonough. They sort of all round on Jey Uso. They go to beat him down. Logan Paul goes and gets Mahomes' Super Bowl ring and goes to smash Jey Uso in the face. Jey Uso ducks. He hits JD McDonough. That'll matter later because they're supposed to be in a 6-man tag later on in the night. And it looks like Jey Uso's going to get out of trouble. He does a bit of a wacky bit with them. Still 2-on-1 attack. Still a numbers game. All that sort of stuff. So they're back on top of him. Logan Paul is just smashing Jey Uso repeatedly in the face of the Super Bowl ring. And then Braun Strowman himself, the recently redrafted Raw star, makes his return. Braun chases all the heels back in, is good mates with Jey Uso. Kind of gets in Patrick Mahomes' face as well. He's never shy of one of them big daft celebrity matches. But he knows how to sort of pick his spot. But Braun Strowman makes a save. We don't see him again for the rest of the night, but obviously a little bond is established with him and Jey. So Jey has got people that support him, and Braun's back.
I think Strowman, I quite like him.
Me too.
He had that Nia Jax return where kind of went away. So I can see why. And then he's come back, basically just got down to business. I like that Gunther match that he had.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. We were talking about this on another podcast. The idea that there's quite a few big lads on Raw that are just going to smash 10 bells out. Sheamus has just returned.
Yeah.
Triple H insists on booking Bronson Reed. There's going to be all these matches featuring all these big guys. So one a week is all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Diet one a week. Right, backstage we go. Sidge, trying to hold on to your sides here. Chad Gable's with R-Truth. And we hear the end of a conversation. If only that massive camera and lighting and boom mic was there for the start of the conversation, we'd have known what it was about. But sadly, we don't yet. Gable says to R-Truth, well, you drive a hard bargain, but it's a pleasure doing business with you. And R-Truth shakes his hand and thinks Chad Gable's a good guy because he doesn't necessarily know what's going on, does he?
No.
The Miz says, like, pops up and says, like, what are you doing with him? And R-Truth says, we get 1 now and 2 later. And the Miz doesn't know what that means. Chad Gable seems to. So some sort of deal has been struck that I guess we'll have to tune in next week to find out. Truth says to Miz, I'm pretty excited about the draft, Miz. And it's like, yep, me too. And Truth says, because of course we could get drafted to the NFL. We could even play for the Chiefs. Now, you're not laughing, Sid. So what's happened here is Truth has seen draft and has gotten confused, thinking that the WWE draft is the NFL draft. You're not. The Miz explained, Miz is like, you silly Billy, R-Truth. It's not the NFL draft, it's the WWE draft. If you really want to get into football, why don't you go speak to Patrick Mahomes? He's out there. And then wait, right? Truth hears Mahomes, and he says, like the insurance guy, I need home insurance. That's great. And then they go off together.
It's pathetic. Look at you laughing at it.
And I want to say the segment ends, by the way, like Chad Gable's like, what was that? And it's like, well, you've just made a deal with R-Truth, so you know he's thick, mate. Like, what's going? But then he turns out and he gets a massive boot in the face from Sami Zayn. So the segment ends pretty hot. Like, Gable's been decked by Sami Zayn, running in with a haluva kick from off camera. In a sort of nice, like, they do these sneak attacks from the front quite a lot now, but the way they're shot, they're actually pretty effective.
It's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic.
Come on, I like Sami Zayn. Don't be hard.
Shut up, man. This R-Truth business.
This business.
It's pathetic. Like, yeah, how old are you? How old are you today?
I'm 39 years old, which is still not as old as R-Truth. So what's his excuse?
It's just you cannot be laughing at him.
It was like, if the Raw credits themselves weren't a birthday present, it was another gift when it cut backstage. And it was like, what's Truth going to misunderstand this week?
It's just
it's on the board. It's the Shane McMahon WrestleMania match, isn't it? Like, what's he not going to get this week? Like, priorities. He's in the top 5 bullets.
It's not good.
Right,
I feel like a child watching this half the time.
Well, it's funny you mention that. I want to get onto Booker T, our draft analyst, because Kathy's like, yeah, Booker, we're looking for your thoughts tonight. And his first thought is, well, I'm going to wonder where Damian Priest's going to go. Champions can't be drafted, Book. You had one job.
To be fair to Book, we kind of struggled with the rules yesterday.
They're dumb rules and it's made the draft worse. So yes. I get where he's coming from.
But that's still incredibly funny.
He does then go on to say, like, I wonder what the rest of the Judgment Day are going to be up to. But it's after the fact that, he said that. This exists anyway for him to question out loud about, like, not question, but like talk out loud about CM Punk going to Raw. It's a big move for Raw to keep CM Punk, basically. And as soon as CM Punk's name gets mentioned, Drew McIntyre pops in shot. They're playing on the fact that he's just completely obsessed whenever he gets mentioned. He's pretty cross because he hasn't been drafted yet and CM Punk has. Like, is he living in opposite land or something? He gets quite stern with Booker. He says, you're not supposed to act like those people out there. You're supposed to act like one of us. You saw what happened at WrestleMania, and then Booker T reminds him, well, what happened to WrestleMania was mostly down to you more than CM Punk. And Drew says, look, I know how you really feel about CM Punk. You need to stop this. And then he just walks off fuming. Now, this was a nice detail for the hardcores, this, but for those that may not know, CM Punk and Booker T's story is just one of the more low-key hilarious Punk stories, isn't it?
Yes.
For those that aren't aware, I love the Punk hair.
This is a great, great story.
For those that aren't aware, CM Punk as world heavyweight champion, the 08 run that a lot of main eventers weren't mad keen on when he had the big goal.
Yeah.
Not really keen on he walked into a locker room and he was telling people to clean the gear up.
Pick up their trash
as your locker room leader.
As the locker room leader, I'm telling you, you have to pick up your rubbish.
Did Booker T just walk past him with a shoulder barge and drop some more rubbish on the floor in front of him?
He either did that or just said, you want my leader? I'll do what I want.
I beat up Dave Bautista in a fight once.
Yeah.
Booker T. I love that. I love it. Like Drew's obsession and this whole deal about, like, he did it with Sheamus, didn't he? It's like, even you're batting for him. What are we doing here? Like, he continues to, like, play into Drew's complete obsession here. And we'll get a bit more of that later on. And realistically, what was the only truly genuinely good thing about the show? Because once again, we have to watch a Bronson Reed match. This wasn't bad. Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn. It's the Intercontinental title match after the weeks they've been feuding. Thought this might get saved for Backlash, and maybe a version of it still will. They've got one speed with this formula. And it's Sami Zayn plays underdog babyface to Bronson Reed being big.
I feel like I've seen this 8 times.
It's because you have. Like, didn't they work on television before Mania? Because Bronson got the win on Sami to put him at his rock bottom so that Chad had to raise him up. Hi, the chemistry's fine, but it's not that exciting. But nonetheless...
I think they did it twice before Mania, you know.
I reckon so. It does feel like the one. And again, what's worse is they're probably working out the kinks on the house shows and it's still just this.
They'll be working the kinks out with Bronson Reed for a long time.
There's not much to it, but it does end with Sami Zayn managing to get the Helluva kick, and it looks like he's finally going to beat Bronson Reed 1, 2, 3. But as the referee's hand's coming down for 2, Chad Gable again interferes as if from nowhere in revenge for the Helluva kick earlier on. He grabs Sami by the waist and does another one of those
I like this touch. I do like this touch.
He's doing captured German suplexes as sneak attacks. Like, only Chad Gable can do that as a sneak. That's twice now. It's like, I've snuck up on you and I've grabbed you and very sort of gradually lifted you over my head. So he absolutely decks him. He puts on the ankle lock. Sami Zayn's in all sorts of bother. So Chad Gable goes to lift the belt up and say he's Intercontinental Champion. But Bronson Reed is frustrated that he's broken up the match and he's potentially cost him a chance at the title. So he decks Chad Gable as well, hits him with a Death Valley driver. Both of them are down and he holds up the Intercontinental title. 3 ways coming here, but it does feel like they're kind of using this... it's not a backlash or anything, but it's coming, isn't it? A 3-way to delay.
Yeah, indeed. This feels like a delaying tactic. I continue to be fundamentally uninterested in everything associated with Bronson Reed, who I don't take seriously as someone who could even enter the Intercontinental title picture, much less win it. It's been a flat couple of weeks after some genuinely masterful booking in this Intercontinental title picture. Therefore, I'm just going to let it play out.
Yeah.
Let it play out because Triple H has wrong-footed me on this before. So I don't want to go to the default cynical, it's going to be a rubbish triple threat, or they're just spinning their wheels. It might feel that way, but I'm not going to bury it one way or the other until the next 2 weeks unfold.
Still sort of feel like story-wise that they do... Like, they've got their eyes on the prize, and the prize is Chad Gable beating Sami Zayn in a ripper for the belt. You still feel like in your guts that's where all this ends up.
So the future direction's good. So I'm not really going to bury this week because they've wrong-footed me before, and I don't want to be a default cynic.
While we're talking about respecting the business,
God, imagine a dead man doing the draft.
Well, we got as close to it because we got the APA. I like drinking beers with John and Ron. Nobody's ever called them John and Ron. That's God damn, more like. John and Ron are out. Isn't Ron John one of the Young Bucks' middle names? Matthew Ron John Jackson or something?
Potentially?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Named after the APA, maybe. Like, tag team inspiration, I imagine.
Sure.
You remember the APA when they used to play poker and you had to walk through the forbidden door if you wanted to speak to them? JBL calls Rey Mysterio deadbeat dad in announcing that the LWO have been drafted to Raw. That is a change. This draft plot hole incoming. So Imperium were drafted as twosome, obviously, because of the turn last week. Carlito was drafted with the LWO because they haven't finished paying that story off yet, to the point where the graphic says, like, Carlito, asshole now, betrayed the LWO.
Yes.
Including the graphic. What?
I don't know either. All I know is that considering how long it went, this Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar stuff, Levesque should be hauled over the coals.
It's finished now. Like, Legado's SmackDown LWO.
That's what I'm saying. With what payoff? The one at WrestleMania.
Yeah, basically.
The crap.
Santos.
The amount of TV time minutes, I would love to see it all get tallied up. The amount of minutes sunk into LWO versus the Legados on SmackDown, what felt like virtually an entire calendar year.
Yeah, that's about right.
To end up in one of the worst, or at least heatless or uninteresting matches at WrestleMania, and then it just ends. There
was the final gripping twist that it was Santos revealed the footage that we all already knew, that it was Carlito that perpetrated the attack.
Honestly, what a waste of time, and more people should be up in arms about this.
Well,
Levesque, it never gets buried.
Do our SmackDown coverage, and I will explain how it has gently cooled for 6 months.
Gently cooled.
Very good. That's the first time I've heard that guy's name mentioned, and the person mentioning it doesn't sound like a total bastard. Raw is keeping Drew McIntyre. SmackDown is getting Nakamura. I'm going to miss those matches here on a Tuesday, let me tell you. Shinsuke has put in some fine 2.5 stars.
They've done a good job, genuinely, of who...
He's a guy I wanted on SmackDown. Give me 5.5 minutes, 2.5 stars.
He's a guy who, if you retired tomorrow, I wouldn't give a toss. Imagine me thinking that in 2015. It's outrageous. I'll tell you what, they've. This is a very bland bit of TV, and they've not really moved and shaked quite enough. They've done, on a low-level basis, a pretty good job of going, this wrestler does not need to be on Raw doing 5 minutes more than they ever need to do. Get them on SmackDown where in-ring time, and I do not give a toss about this generally, but this whole discourse about, there was 18% more in-ring action on Collision than SmackDown. I do not care. However, if I have to watch this for a living, I'd rather Shinsuke Nakamura wrestle shorter matches.
Yeah.
And they've done an all right job, right? Shinsuke did an all right job of saying, this guy could do with not wrestling that length of match. Get him off Raw. Get her off Raw. Good, thanks.
There absolutely should be a tactical approach to who is better in a long TV match, and that influence the draft, shouldn't there?
It's almost
the best long TV match wrestlers should be on Raw.
It's almost as if a long match isn't necessarily a good one. Can we Can we not get away with this? Get away from it for once and for all. I watched Collision, and the last 5 minutes of Swerve Claudio was pretty damn awesome. It didn't need 22 minutes. So few matches do, but it's just this wrong think that has polluted professional wrestling for years and years and years.
The TV match is not in a good place at the moment. Cody, I think, is one of the few that gets it right almost all of the time, and he had an absolute stinker with Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown. It's
even only that 8 minutes.
And that again, not length based. It's like this weird thing where we're trying to force pay-per-view work into TV time, and I understand that you have to slow it down for ad breaks to a point, and Raw's got to roll on, and there's got to be the picture-in-picture on Dynamite or whatever, but it needs a rethink. There are so few wrestlers that seem to be able to get it right and keep it exciting. The slowdown is so depressing, isn't it? When the wrestlers, it's like they change the way they change their footwork. Yeah. It's like the referee's just gone, add in 10 seconds. It's like they change the way they walk. I know. It's like, and your brain goes, oh, well, all right, okay then. I can not care about this for at least another 2 minutes. It needs a reshuffle. So does the draft, if you ask Drew McIntyre, Sidge, because he comes out, he's bloody raging. He's taking his anger out on the APA, because how has he been drafted after CM Punk? Thinks it's disgusting. There's a massive CM Punk chant at this point. He says, you all just think it's cool to chant for him. He's just a corporate arse kisser. But he finally managed to achieve something in his stupid life. He's managed to injure me. He explains that at WrestleMania, when he attacked Drew McIntyre, he's fractured his elbow. But you'll notice that Drew McIntyre's kept wrestling. Drew McIntyre's kept coming to work. He's as good as in his gear, other than with an elbow pad over the top. Drew still comes to work weekly. Where's CM Punk? You're probably just on your couch, aren't you? And then all of a sudden, CM Punk's music hits. Drew immediately turns to the ramp, ready to fight him. But CM Punk is revealed to be in the gods. He's looking down on Drew McIntyre. He says, "Hey, Drew, I'm right here, you little bitch." Big pop. We've talked about a well-used bitch in pro wrestling.
Wrestlers love the word bitch.
And Drew
love it.
Drew races off to find him, and I bet you can't guess what Ron Simmons said to wrap it up.
Damn.
There it is. I like this.
This is quite good.
Yeah,
Drew Punk stuff. Let's talk about it.
Go on, sorry.
I don't have much to say.
There's a payoff later, obviously. So.
Yeah, it was okay. It was good. I continue to just think it's one of the better programs in professional wrestling right now, when there's a dearth of really strong creative across the board, it feels like, in this month of April after WrestleMania. But we'll talk about more later, I guess.
I do love that it's not showing anybody up, but it's reminding you that builds way more about creative flair than anything else.
Yeah.
Punk can do almost nothing. Drew can't do much more. At least previously there was one that was fully fit in wrestling. Now neither of them are. Does it matter? No, not really. They're building a money match.
If anything, it's better when you've got that challenge put in front of you, and you can't just go on to autopilot. It's just odd when they were referencing WrestleMania and how Punk, despite not being medically cleared yet, got himself involved in a physical angle, which he also did when Drew went after his arm that time on Raw. I just thought he would never do that.
Did you get that reference? I got that reference. Alpha Academy backstage, Sidge. I like this. They're trying to get Maxine revved up for a big match night, Maxine Dupree, and Chad Gable comes in, and they're all saying, "Look, you did really well in that battle royal. You eliminated a couple of people, and He's like, yeah, did you see me? Shaggy was like, yeah, I saw you. You were absolutely terrible. What do you want, a participation ribbon just for entering the Battle Royal? Didn't win the title, did you, loser? So, like, his new tough love thing with Alpha Academy plays out.
I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, he says that Otis needs to get his act together. He's chastises Akira Tozawa for stupid dancing. Says, go out there and win me a championship. Bring one back to the Alpha Academy or you're no use to me. He storms off. Ivy Nile's there in the meantime and just says to Maxine Dupree, it's okay, let's go warm up, don't worry about that. Chad's great at everything. He is great at everything, isn't he?
It's fantastic.
Somebody else who's great at most things is Braun Breaker. He's backstage to sort of say, I'm here on Monday Night Raw, I'm going to kick everybody's ass. Sheamus tells him to chill out, calm down. It's great to have you here. I was like you once, and I know that all you want to do is get out there and have banger after banger after banger after banger. He just keeps saying it, but this basically exists for Drew McIntyre to storm through the pair of them because he's on his way up to the box to finally get CM Punk. But before Drew makes it to the box, Sidge, it's great how this timed out. Like, it obviously must be a big building because we've got just enough time to watch Candice LeRae versus Maxine Dupree. Another Raw banger after banger after banger. That thankfully only goes a minute and a half because it's pretty poor.
How is it so bad in such a short amount of time?
It's almost impressive. Like, Maxine Dupree at one point, Candice LeRae still doesn't generate a response as a heel despite being one of the most like naturally engaging baby faces there is. This is twice Triple H has turned her heel.
Come on.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It ain't Reseda no more.
It's the big leagues. Didn't Punk say that as well? This ain't Reseda. That was a Punk line.
I think so, yeah.
I had to like, dig out the Young Bucks or something.
Yeah.
This ain't Reseda. I'm trying to do $1 million house. All I'm saying is, where's my goddamn t-shirt? Who's working the merch here? Oh. Anyway, Maxine Dupree's obviously still working on all these submissions. So she does at one point capture Candice LeRae in an ankle lock. Candice can't quite reach the ropes.
I will say, I was thinking, are they going to have her win?
Yeah.
I didn't think, are they going to have her win? Surely not.
She's got like believable underdog fire, but is that rooted in the fact that...
Well, it just went on long enough.
Well, is it because like they're basically saying, they're putting it out front, she's the worst wrestler of all time, and she's not. But that's what they're telling you in the messaging of this character.
Not her fault.
No. That's the messaging behind this character, so that when she comes even close to like a tap-out win with a last-minute ankle lock, you're thinking, bloody hell. Would you bloody believe it? And then, obviously, in the end, she doesn't anyway.
I feel like because it took up 40% of the match,
yeah,
it was like, bloody hell, this has gone on a long time relative to the crap that came before. Is she going to win here?
I tell you nearly 120 seconds.
How long? Because I don't remember any of this junk. Uh-huh. How long has she been doing the imploding worm?
I think most of the time she's been this character with Alpha Academy.
Has it been imploding the whole time?
It's been imploding more than it's been exploding. Yeah.
Yeah, really bad. Like really, really stupid and dumb.
Indy Hartwell runs interference.
Like surely you'd just go up and splash someone.
Oh yeah. But, you know, like...
You need the theatrics, don't you?
You totally
You need a bit of pageantry.
Might be a...
showmanship.
Story. In-ring storytelling.
You need some flips.
Is that going to be on YouTube soon, Nicholas?
One day, I'm sure.
There is.
Let's just say.
I don't want to throw us around.
If you stay subscribed or subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on YouTube, you might see a very funny gaff.
Can't miss footage of Phil Chambers' worm soon coming to YouTube. Oh, Phil. But you did it anyway, and I had a lot of respect for that. By the way, that was a power move.
Yeah.
He kept going. Come and see it on YouTube. Indy Hartwell runs interference. That allows Candice on Ivy Nile at ringside. That allows Candice to escape the ankle lock. Hits her with a big boot. She does like her curb stomp. The wicked stepmother. That's what I think she called it. And beats her with relative ease. And then
she likes going to Disney.
Yeah. And then, but it's a step. And Indy Hartwell carries her off. I quite like Candice.
Very clever, works on multiple levels. God, do you fancy Candice LeRae or something?
I just like wordplay.
You said she was superb.
I really liked it when they were just like making her a nasty piece of work. But then we talked about this. They told the story backwards. They did realise, we've gone in 2-footed straight away. Like, there's nothing worse she can say. Well, that's done then. Like, she convinced Indy Hartwell to cheat by like pulling the hair or something, and it was like weeks after she said it. Stupid. Indy
What you should do as well, Indy, a dastardly thing. Is what you should do is go like tap your head, to the front row to signify that you've got evil intentions.
When the referee looks the other way, just clap your hands. He'll think you made a tag, and see what happens. Be calling the police on you. Kathy Kelly's with new Raw superstars, the LWO. Rey Mysterio. This is it. Like Rey Mysterio's like, it's great to be here on Raw. How have we still got Carlito with us? What are you doing here, Carlito? You beat up one of our own.
Rey Mysterio's been on Raw about 5 combined years.
Yeah.
Of his and our lives.
That's probably why he's so excited to be back. This was nice though, because obviously Dominic Mysterio walks into the shot and you're reminded that these two are together on TV for the first time in quite a while. Rey Mysterio makes note of Dominic Mysterio's Dirty Sanchez mustache, which commentators have a big laugh at. And then we go back to Drew, who is...
It's great now that Vince is gone in it.
Yeah, so much better. Witty, if anything. Drew is finally at the skybox where CM Punk is, and he goes inside and he finds a signed picture that CM Punk has left for Drew, and he's absolutely fuming, looking down the glass, and then CM Punk's music hits and he's walking down the ring, and it's honestly funny stuff.
Honestly, I have a philosophical disconnect with you where you think, oh, well, wrestling just gets in the way of it.
Sometimes.
But this feud is underscored that the less wrestlers can do in the ring, it forces you to be creative. And I talk a lot about the mythical, imagined, whiteboard where you do your stories and all the stuff. You should have a set of rules of, right, okay, these two wrestlers can't physically interact, and guess what? This wrestler shouldn't have a match for this amount of weeks. Right, what can we do instead of that? Just force people to think creatively.
You do it show by show. You say, well, you can't use a table, you can't work a leg.
Yeah.
You can absolutely apply that to story devices.
Of course you should. The signed picture's great. The subversion of the original angle, fantastic. Because you thought when you watched the first bit, bit of a nothing week. And then good show-long storyline. This is good stuff.
It's
maybe you're onto something. Maybe the less wrestling there is,
especially on TV,
the better the show is. Yeah,
especially on TV, I would say. There's always going to be enough wrestling, and even now,
too much of anything.
Both companies running monthly PLEs where
pay-per-views, please.
Well, it's both. PLEs on one side,
we still call them pay-per-views.
I would not drop $14.99 on Bear Clash Reigns when I can watch it for free on the CAC. But people still can. It's on Discovery. I saw it today. $14.99 on Discovery Plus. Why?
And
what are you doing?
It's these old people, isn't it?
Punk hits the ring. This is nice. He says, I love you people. I love being in this city. So I'm going to try and explain what I'm going to do in the amount of time, in less time than it took Drew McIntyre to lose the WWE title. So I've got 5 minutes and 46 seconds. Pat McAfee, start the clock.
You know what's a good bit of trivia about that line that popped into my head when I was watching it, right? Okay, so he makes reference to... a certain time frame that's embarrassing to Drew McIntyre, right? What was it?
5:46.
5:46, right? 5:46, and that's the punchline before the promo sort of thing, right? If you recall, it would have been 2016, thereabouts. WWE, as they had to do because it's one of their hotbeds that they did great gates at, had to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
2 years removed from CM Punk's departure, and the CM Punk chants followed them everywhere they went, everywhere, until it became the shorthand for, we hate this, we don't necessarily want CM Punk to be here, we are chanting this because he said that, this company's a bit crap, and we are echoing his words in chant form.
Useful shorthand, wasn't it?
Yeah,
got 60
CM
complaints.
CM Punk, yeah. Stephanie McMahon opened one of these shows and said, if you do this for 2 minutes and 12 seconds or whatever it was, you will last longer than CM Punk did in the UFC fight. And it's just funny how he's used the exact same device.
Yeah.
It's just, it
was a good line that week as well.
Stephanie
McMahon every now and then had one in her. And it was difficult to admit because most of the time it was appalling.
Sometimes when you're a prick, you can be good at being one.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. What's that? I guess I'm going to have to turn this up to 11. Oh, no, I'll live 11. Turn it up to 12. This was great because I haven't even pointed this out yet. Punk was wearing his white 2011 shirt and he sat down cross-legged for a pipe bomb and he held the microphone up. I think that's going to be our thumbnail today, isn't it, Nicholas? We need it, though, because what else would draw? There's only the booker on this show.
Priest.
He said, yeah, he says this would normally be the part. So he's got Pat McAfee like starting the clock. Basically, he says this would normally be the part of our story where he would ask if he has Drew's attention now. Oh my God, that money in the bank. But still, do I have your attention now? It's right in there, man. He says, but he knows he's had that for quite some time. Drew's like an ex-girlfriend that he can't get rid of. He hurt Drew's elbow. Good. Drew was the one that prayed for CM Punk to get injured, and now Punk's done that back to him. He thought that maybe Drew got hurt just sitting on Twitter because apparently that's all he's good for now. That's why CM Punk got drafted above him. Drew was actually given CM Punk a brand new purpose. The reason CM Punk was drafted before Drew McIntyre is simple wrestling economics. He's the best in the world in this ring, on that microphone, even on commentary. No offense, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole.
Better than Pat McAfee by miles.
Pat McAfee says, and he's done
finally, by the way, on McAfee, I've finally learned to tune him out.
Have you cracked it?
Just that secret hack to tolerate WWE that people had for years. I'll just drown out the commentators. Just do not listen.
Did you have it on Michael Cole before he started educating you about the likes of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor as he does now?
I just don't. I think I've just got it. This weird wiring in my brain of don't listen to the commentators. It's wild.
Do you ever watch? Do you ever watch the snooker on the telly where the people can buy those little headsets so they can listen to the snooker commentary as they're watching? You found like a reverse engineered version of that for watching WWE, some headphones.
A lot of people have learned how to tune it out.
Yeah.
McAfee pierced that particular veil because he's just so obnoxious. His enunciations of words on the program are so bizarre. Do you get it? But it's obnoxious. I just feel like what a horrible vibe that man has. But I've learned.
Well, he said, you would have tuned out then that he said, God, and he's only a minute and 33 in. McAfee said that when he said the no offense to them line. This was great from Punk. He said, losers hope things happen. Losers pray for things to happen. Winners simply make it happen. And when I'm 100%, I'm going to promise to make your life a living hell. And then he knocked out. Pat McAfee confirmed he knocked that out in just over 2 minutes, and then Punk was out of there. Economic by design, but as we've already talked about, just some creative flair. This is
really good creative
so much
flair.
more than everything else in the show, doesn't it?
And if you're the character of Drew McIntyre and you've been outsmarted and made to look like a mug by CM Punk, you have now additional fuel going into next week of, I really hate this prick.
Yeah.
Like, I hate him more than ever. He's trying to make a mug of me and this will not stand.
I hadn't really considered after Drew had lost the belt at WrestleMania, but this was the week where it really hit home. What Drew's benefiting from now in turning the heat up on all this is he can't do the above it all bit of the pre-WrestleMania character. He could be above all of it because he was like, man, got what I needed.
Yeah.
Like he's lost that high ground.
Yeah.
And like he's in denial that he's kind of in the sludge with CM Punk, and I love watching this play out.
It's just the best program in WWE and probably wrestling right now.
It is. I was going to say it's going to like play to a jacked building at Clash at the Castle, but they've kind of knackered that hydro ticket thing, haven't they? By like doing those mad expensive combo packs that basically chase people off biting. Like they've got a tiny building there that they now can't sell out because it's 350 quid a shot or something like that.
It's just an outrageous amount of money that they're asking people to spend.
I don't know what they were thinking. You could have put them in like a big stadium.
Like, I really like Glasgow.
Yeah,
I've had several trips there. I really think it's a nice city.
I've been to the Hydro to watch wrestling. It's great.
I've been to Glasgow, honestly, about maybe even in the double figures. I've been several times in the past, and when I was a young, budding gig goer, no one ever used to go to Newcastle. So, God damn it, my beautiful mother on a weeknight would drive me and a mate up to Glasgow on a school night.
That's nice.
We'd get back at like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
The SEC.
The SEC?
Yeah.
SEC?
SEC? I think it's
SEC.
There's one there. There's a Hydro next to it. And you've got places in town like the Garage in King Tut.
And I saw on the Slipknot on the Iowa tour and Smashing Pumpkins on the Machines of God tour. And Billy Corgan, right? Not being funny, in Scotland, the Raji's up there, decided to do a 6-song acoustic set, and people were moshing to Today. And it's like, don't mosh. Listen to the music. We'll get the electrics out later. People just want to go to... Like, rock was never dead, Billy. You're just pretentious enough to think that.
He's a really difficult figure. If like Smashing Pumpkins are your band, I like. They're not mine, truthfully, but if they were your band,
Siamese
he's a difficult
Dream
figure to be at the front of, isn't he?
Yeah, God, and Siamese Dream and Melancholy two of the best albums ever written. I like Ava Adore. Machina's got some nice songs on it, and a nice sort of sound, but it's not one of their strongest.
I had a housemate that was a Zwan.
Everything
I had a
else,
housemate that was a Zwan guy. Zwan.
And everything else that they did was pretty piss.
Teddy Long and 100 Blazer out next. That's
the thing I'm saying. Like on Glasgow, as much as I've enjoyed going there, for that amount of money, I would. If I'm an English or Scottish or Welsh or Irish fan or whatever, like I'm in the area, like it's in my backyard, 500 miles away in Wales or whatever. You know what I mean? I would, if it was that much, then you think, right, okay, well, you've got your accommodation and your travel and like you want to go out and eat, you want to take a freaking ham sandwich
you want to
eat in a hotel. You want to get a bad Mars bar.
That orange chicken. Lush orange chicken that you get.
You know, nice sit down curry or whatever. But the accumulated expense, you think, I would probably just rather fly to the States and really make a proper, authentic experience of it. If I'm going to spend this much, why not do an extra grand on top of it?
It's going to be hot as well. That's the thing. It's going to be like a hot show. You want to go, and like you said, geographically, if it suits you, you want to attend, and then being forced out of it for those prices, it's a shame more than... I know that they could put single show tickets on sale, and they'll sell them out, but it's just these combo ones have sent people back on nothing. All right, we've got the next round of draft picks. Judgment Day staying on Raw. Naomi staying on SmackDown. SmackDown are taking...
Hell's teeth.
SmackDown are taking...
Is that an expression or is it just something my dad says?
No, Hell's teeth.
All right, okay.
Well, I might need your help here. SmackDown are taking Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and Raw have dipped into the NXT pot, and they've brought up Ilya Dragunov, so I guess Tuesdays are going to be...
Very entertaining.
Look, all joking aside, we were just on this very podcast talking about you need guys that make entertaining TV matches. It's a good pickup, isn't it? This is the show.
Dragunov,
this is the one.
There's a lot of great wrestlers out there. I don't necessarily think that some of them being put in really long matches can necessarily justify the run time every single time. Dragunov is an absolute monster who doesn't necessarily need that much time, but he can more than justify getting a long match and just killing it.
Yeah.
So it's better him on Raw than SmackDown.
Absolutely. And as well, the fact that they have kept Gunther on Raw, we talked about this on the preview bit yesterday, you want them in the same space, but just not interacting yet.
Yes.
Because the day that comes...
He did a digital exclusive and he was asked, well, you're on the same brand as Gunther and you got a long history with him. What are your thoughts? And you said basically something to the effect of Destiny.
Yeah.
So they know what they're getting. They know what they want to do. They're just not getting there yet.
We like to go deep on these podcasts and analyse things. I love that we will suspend our disbelief that these men will travel on multiple forms of transport to the same relatively small workspace every Monday, and then only in August will they cross paths in a corridor.
And pretend that it's the first time they've seen each other.
You again, is it?
You again, is it?
Same as that's not even catering.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating. I'm starving.
How should they get through and cater in the average wrestler when we know how hungry they are?
Jesus Christ. Well, unless, of course, you're John Moxley, because as Seth Rollins told us, he was taking food off the table.
Yes. So maybe they're eating, but then an AEW wrestler just runs in, just swoops off, takes food off their table. It's like, that's why I'm hungry. That's why I'm hungry all the time.
And that's why we've got the war going on. That's why none of them get along. We've cracked it. It's Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. It's not very good.
No.
But fans are into it. I will say this Liv Morgan thing. Like, I will back a match that has got the building because. Do I think this? I think I do. I think at this point, it's probably more important to keep that crowd engaged across any TV wrestling match than it be good. The execution, it was not great. It was pretty sloppy. It was like treacly. They couldn't get a pace going. I found that, like, again, it's that Liv Morgan runs and attacks, but then Nia Jax will knock her down and be physically dominant and all that sort of stuff. They did a bit, I should say, as well.
There's no sense of real struggle. Can't she do it?
Tiffany Stratton was watching from the crowd and Naomi decked her, because obviously they've got the ongoing thing with Bayley over on SmackDown.
Obviously.
So during all of that, because people will definitely watch and listen to both.
Yeah.
It's red brand, you've got to watch both. Red brand and blue brand because of the draft.
Yeah, you have to.
Equal and similar investment.
Enjoy Collision this week?
But, God no. But I watched a bit of it before we did a podcast yesterday. My energy levels were whoosh. I cannot do that again. So they've had a fight in the crowd. That's created a bit of a distraction for Nia Jax, especially because she's going to be going over to SmackDown to fight these women. And in the meantime, knocks Naomi off the apron, which allows Liv Morgan to run and hit her with something. In this case, it's the code breaker. She gets the win. It's a big victory for Liv Morgan. Nia Jax has beaten and battered pretty much everybody other than Rhea Ripley on this show. And she's done the job on the way out of the territory.
Yeah. So I can't wait for it to appear to be invincible and the like on SmackDown. This match was just that line of, when he meant to make the crowd come up. Not too much now. Don't make them come just yet. Got to get a finish to get to first. And the Undertaker's mind, it goes, it's like,
They only get to come when they hear my dong.
Old Take gonna make you come.
Old Take makes you come in the dark with his dong. They never come when you put the lights on. Not in my experience.
Coming in the dark, Take. Could be the name of his next show.
I didn't say dark room, Kane. It's not supposed to be all red.
It's not all red.
Ain't gonna come if it's red.
Hey, Kane, you a commie? Huh? What the hell you went red for? All right, hell, that's fine.
Where's the white and the blue? Our flag's got 3 colors.
And they ain't never run before.
I'm a nephew of Uncle Sam. Ever heard of him?
Because that would make him...
That would make them both brothers or cousins. I don't know.
Like Uncle Sam would also be his.
It would be Kane's uncle. Well, he
brothers.
is. Yeah, he's Uncle Sam's. Kane's a servant of Uncle Sam. Have you seen his tweets?
He's born in Spain. He was.
It's a family shame.
It's a family shame.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on Kane.
Goddamn, Kanye was a communist.
My communist brother. The Dudleys are here again. They had the table and stuff. That's what they used to do.
Had their gimmick glasses on.
Raw, strapping. Raw's keeping the New Day. SmackDown's keeping Pretty Deadly. SmackDown takes Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell.
Good.
And,
then again, it's like, how much can you subtract their match time as it is?
Aye.
Candice LeRae matches.
2 minutes a shot. Yeah, it's like...
It'll be 15 seconds. You'd have used the math.
Imagine that. Sorry, look, it's SmackDown. We've got an hour less. We're going to have to cut you for time. You know how it goes. It's the business.
That might even happen.
Are you kidding me?
But if you look at the math and how it works at the calc and the trig, that's how it works out.
Lyra Valkyrie is spreading the wings and flying to Raw.
So I'm Sybil. You watch Sybil?
Not really, no. I remember it always being on there.
If you can get it. And if you get it, won't you tell me how? That was a theme tune.
Oh.
I remember I used to be such a lazy little bastard. I would watch out.
Yeah.
As long as it was on telly.
Love telling me. I
watch Sybil.
I wanted to, like, well, we talked about this as relates to the Goonies, but it applies to pretty much everything. I was like, why would you chase adventure? The telly's on. Like, the telly will show you adventure and you don't get hurt. You can't eat crisps on an adventure unless you're stopping specifically for a mandated crisp break. And then what adventure gets in the way? Not going to happen if you're watching telly. Yeah, Lyra Valkyria flying to Raw. It's pretty cool, isn't it? We've seen her
swooping in.
That's it. We've seen her just a little bird in the nest.
Like
she can goo. If anybody's never seen Lyra Valkyria, she can goo. There's an inbuilt link with Becky Lynch, which I'm sure they'll play up to. One of the stronger wrestlers on NXT.
She's good. She's actively good, and I thought the reaction was really sweet.
They're great, these, aren't they? I was saying
they're good.
It's the best and worst.
Not everything's great, Tony.
It's the best and worst, this like camera in the gym deal, because
there's so many NXT wrestlers.
There's loads of them, right? And when they're real,
there's more in AEW.
You can see the realization setting in. Like, it's a 3-hour show and they're calling 3 of us up. That's a good L.
Like mathematically, if you do the calc and the trig,
yeah,
it could take like 40 years.
Shawn Michaels doing the speech, like the old Paul Heyman rah-rah speech. Look at the guy on your left. Look at the guy on your right. I can do that at the same time. But look at the guy on your left. Look at the guy on your right. They will not be getting called up, right? But so like 3 of them get the call, and it is lovely. Like, you can see that there's just all kayfabe out the window. They're just buzzing that the work colleagues had this amazing moment. But it's a shoot, right? You can tell they're reacting. So that also means that you're watching the majority of people suffer genuine heartbreak. 95% of people in the room having their most disappointing day this year. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird that you can have both.
Yeah.
Alpha Academy didn't take Chad Gable's advice because they were beaten by the Awesome Truth in a minute and a half.
Jesus Christ, I'm so glad.
With the Truth Crushing finale.
So glad.
It's Chad Gable going to beat them up, or are they going to leave him behind? Where's this actually going? Because I get why you have to. I don't mind that they've not just had him abandon them. Get 2-3 weeks out of this separation, but how do they do it?
Oh, give them monkeys.
All right. Okay. Damien Priest is as pissed off with the Judgment Day as Chad Gable was with Alpha Academy. Seeing how JD McDonough's got like this massive mark on his face from where he's been hit with a Super Bowl ring, and he's like not looking that great. And he said, look, you're just making a mistake. Like every time you go out there at the moment, it's a clown show. I don't need your help to beat Jey Uso on Saturday, and I be there tonight, but don't think you need to step in. I'm the world champion. I've got this. We've got Liv Morgan, who's backstage, and Becky Lynch says, yep, you're great against Nia Jax. I'm a woman of my word, and you'll get your title shot. That's coming down the line. But then Becky Lynch bumps into Damage Control, who are now obviously on Raw. So there's your...
That's another good move, by the way.
It is, isn't it? Like this.
Not yet another good move. Yeah. It's one of like the 2 or 3 good moves.
Speaking of great drafts, Sidge, Mega Glove themselves, the Final Testament, are coming to Monday Night Raw, which brings about an end to the all-timer feud with the Pride, of course. But, I mean... surely that's, if I can borrow one of the best things you've ever said on a podcast, I would consider this a narrative Big Bang. Final Testament.
I tell you what,
4 feuds at once.
This is the inverse of what we've been talking about. The only praise, faint as it is, that I've been directing towards this draft is, right, okay, if you can do nothing else, Levesque, and if you can do nothing else, you can at least adequately separate your roster into cloggers who aren't good, will be doing your minimal rubbish match times on Smackers, and you often overlong ones on Raw. At least you're getting Dragunov for it.
Dragunov's a big one.
Karrion Kross. Oh my God. Dragunov versus Karrion Kross.
Yep.
That's weird. You've got a guy who never looks good in the ring in Karrion Kross versus the guy who can never carry anyone. Can always carry everyone in Dragunov. You've got someone who can never have an interesting match to save their life versus the guy who in WWE can't really have an actively bad or boring one.
Karrion Kross like goes for his hidden blade, and it's so soft. Dragunov's furious. He was sat there waiting to be hurt. He's like, do it again.
This is going to be called the Karrion Kross match. CARRYIN apostrophe Cross.
Like those.
I'm going to be Karrion Kross tonight.
Those.
And then that's every wrestler ever.
British comedy films that have dated quite terribly, and it's just Carry On Cross. It's a bad match playing out while Barbara Windsor goes, oh.
There's the face.
The Big Show's there.
Karrion Kross, starring Ilya Dragunov.
I cannot wait. We've just booked the territory. We saved the business. And WWE have saved SmackDown because DIY are going there. Raw keeps Bronson Reed. And SmackDown have called up Blair Davenport again. It's nice to see. Like she's I love again. She's done business on her way out of territory, losing the surfboard match to Saruka, so she's out of there. But yeah, again, like all gather around. That's very nice. And now we get to our main event, and it's like, oh my God, I want the 2023 Cody Rhodes Tag Team Main Event, please. We've got 2023 Cody Rhodes Tag Main Event at home.
This was such a nothing affair.
What the frig was this? This is where I got like, I'd yet to do the trig and the calc and the math on exactly where the rosters were stacking up. I was thinking, if this is the night, like the first night where you get to have that, I know like they don't lock in, as they say, till next Monday, so there can still be supplemental trades and the like. But I thought of all the nights to just, I don't know, like just knock out this killer main event. How Sami and Jey Uso together there. Like if you're going to put a couple of different feuds together.
Gang back together.
Yeah, all that sort of just like, Raw's going to be great. Cody's gone, but don't worry because there's like a bunch, and there's a bunch of wrestlers on the show who can like generate you this great main event. So as a result, I see why on paper they thought, well, Ricochet is one of them, isn't he? And Andrade is one of them, isn't he? And Jey Uso is one of them, isn't he? And the Judgment Day were 2-3 of them last year, weren't they? And it's like, I just want to say, no, you're wrong and you're a grotesquely ugly freak. Like, they couldn't have got this any more wrong in trying to illustrate what the future of Raw looks like, even though that was absolutely the tone.
Well, the future of Raw is 3 3/4 star wrestlers being forced to do factory settings 3-star action, so it averages out at 3.25, and even then that feels generous because that's meant to be good.
You had no...
And this just didn't feel nothing.
Like, I love Jey Uso, but we've said it, like, sometimes the matches just aren't there, and...
Just me, Oos. Yeet, 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 it's just me, Oos. Yeet, yeet, yeet. Chef
we all say
Rebel.
yeet because we ain't taking seats. Like,
Chef Rebel.
It's waiting for that to make out in public. I'm glad you did it. And again, Ricochet's work sort of speaks for itself.
Does it?
It's supposed to. Andrade just hasn't found his footing yet. I don't think back in WWE he's not like...
Should ask Regal for help.
Huh? Okay. Love this, mate. People ask why you wouldn't take your birthday off work. This is why. So yeah, now what happens for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. It wasn't that long. It was like 9-10 minutes. It was a house show main event supplanted onto a draft Raw, basically. But the storyline development at the end, Damian Priest has got... so Jey Uso's in the top row. Damian Priest catches him with like the goose or the chuck. He looks like he might try like a South of Heaven from the top. And JD McDonough thinks, I'm concussed, but I'm helping. So he pushes Jey Uso off the top rope, which still hurts.
What am I doing?
But
Snafu!
Because he's pushed him out of the grip of Damian Priest, like,
I made a mistake.
that wasn't the planned way they were going to kick his ass. And obviously that results... That's your heel miscommunication that results in the babyface getting the win. Jey Uso hits the spear on Finn Balor to hit the Uso splash on JD McDonough to get the win, as you pointed out yesterday in the preview, because can he do that again at the weekend? No, of course he can't.
You can't. Wrestling booking is largely terrible.
It was... that's a good L.
As a main event, this was so poor. Science time.
Uh-oh.
And maybe it's a theoretical experiment that you might want to do at home. And I didn't necessarily... I did it.
Right, okay. Yeah.
I did it. So...
I did the experiment.
I did the experiment. So theoretically, okay, you are at home. You're groggy still, especially if you're a Brit.
Uh-huh.
And you're waking up to watch this trash. And then you're lying down. You're like, oh, God, I'm tired. But I'll just get through this Raw main event. I can go make my coffee and have my breakfast, etc. So it's a theoretical experiment, okay? Picture the scene that you decide, right, it's a WWE TV match. Mm-hmm. Very little tends to happen. You're not going to get, there's like an injured limb here. Let's see how this will logically proceed the next sequence of the match.
Yep.
And like CM Punk's the brilliant example of this. Like everything he does matters. He might do one move, but oh God, if I do this, then they've got my arm sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you can watch it build and build and build and build and build. There are very few wrestlers who are great at that, and none of them are in this match. Nor were they allowed to be as expressive as they could possibly be, like Ricochet. So you do wonder, what am I watching this for? So for the first 2 minutes, Hamflett, you decide, I'm just going to go on my phone very quickly. I'm lying down, bleary-eyed. And what you do is, in this theoretical science experiment, but that you might want to try at home that I didn't do, is you'll go, right, okay, if I just look at my phone, and there's fed in the background, what I'll do is, you can kind of, something will get my attention at some point. I'm on my phone. Something will get my attention at some point, and it's when Michael Cole starts to raise his voice a bit. I know you can't do that because he does it all the goddamn time. When the crowd start to really pick up, I'll go, right, phone down. Watch the television, the Fed on the television, right? Let's just say in this theoretical experiment that the crowd doesn't come up at all.
Yeah.
And you hear the bell ring and the winner announced, and you just go, I have to watch this again. Because I paid no attention to it. And then I watched it again. So a really stupid finish, nothing beforehand, and that was your main event.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I was watching this again with zero feeling because Jey Uso had already entered. So I had no instruction to do anything because he's already done his entrance. And I was reminded
Just me, Oos. Yeet, yeet, yeet.
I was reminded of, like, whenever there's been a period in any wrestling company where there's like a bit of
Shush, here comes Chad Gable.
was like a bit of an injury bug bites and there's just a bunch of guys go down and you start having a picture, whether it be like Nicholas, WrestleMania 32 you're at, where it's like, I'm going to have to picture this WrestleMania without so many of these wrestlers that I would imagine would have wrestled. And it's happened loads of times. You get it in stables as well. I was looking at the Judgment Day. My guy's the Judgment Day for such a long time. And I was like, this is going to be a long summer without Dominic Mysterio to get the heat. Dominic Mysterio, like, I always acknowledged him as like one of the key pieces of the puzzle that I didn't think he got enough credit for, but how much did this match miss him? Just existing and actually getting the fans to care about, like, I don't know, Ricochet getting his hands on him or something. He was like, they don't care about him getting his hands on Jaden McDonough. Nobody cares about getting his hands on Jaden McDonough. Nobody.
No one cares about that.
Finn Balor's partner, but,
He's got that Nakamura mindset for in-ring now, Balor.
I liked when he put the yeet glasses on during the beatdown earlier on. That was what I liked. They're doing the yeet down.
Yeah.
I was into that. He does all that stuff. Wears all those clothes, but you know that body's under there.
Indeed.
Were we too harsh on the draft? Probably not, but let us know in the comments below anyway. Hang on, our producer Nicholas is clicking.
The Raw Riddle.
Now
We're going to wait for Wilborn. You know why? Why? Because the listeners will have to listen to the next time he's in. So which podcast is he going to make?
And you did promise them. So it's up to you.
Oh.
Wilborn, I just need to get off Slack. It's the only problem. It's downstairs. I'll be like,
Well,
He's going to go to. We'll do it.
Okay.
Raw Riddle.
Yeah, we'll do the Raw Riddle.
Okay. Well, what do?
I want to check with him. He's happy with them.
Nah,
Just go down.
He'll be all right. He'll be okay.
Okay.
So
Let's just go down.
For those that are watching for the first time or potentially listening for the first time, the Raw Riddle is, just a naked retention strategy that we've set.
Yes, it is.
Where
the idea is...
Yeah, on the Raw preview, which we encourage you to listen to, but isn't on YouTube, Adam Wilborn.
It is, in fact, wherever you get your podcasts from.
Indeed. Our absent host today would dish out a riddle for myself and Michael Sidgwick to solve. Some of them are patronisingly simple.
Yes.
Some of them, considering that he goes to a website called something like 100 Riddles for all ages, we're like, oh my God.
What is this?
Guy's a Rubik's Cube. And I think that was the case yesterday. I can't remember yesterday's Raw Riddle, but Nicholas is going to get that on Slack.
Indeed.
While we wait for him...
what do you guys want to talk about?
What do you guys want to talk about? Let's quickly touch on, this was the first Raw, categorically, definitely.
More Raw.
No Cody. This is it now. No, it sucks, doesn't it?
It's what stars are, man. I keep telling people there's a difference between upper mid-carders and stars.
Yeah.
And this is you get Drew and you get Punk, and without Cody, my God, the show stinks.
Because he's like the working guy as well. He's going to give you a hot main event. He's going to add so much flavour to this kind of match.
He's such a star that he's like Teflon to the TV normalization process that gets all of them in the end. Like at the minute, he's 3 weeks ago, he was such a star. I'm not starting any stupid backlash, by the way.
Are you a Bloodline stan now? Are you one of the guys like you full on Tamatonga?
He's such a star that he could be all over the show, and then he'd come out next week and like, be all over it again. We need you. We need you, buddy.
I need a look at this roster post Backlash, I think, because Jey Uso is going to lose to Damian Priest. I don't necessarily think that's going to make Damian Priest a more credible world champion, but it's all happening. He's turning on Judgment Day, isn't he? Any day now. I need to see this new roster post Backlash.
It's not the Raw Riddle just yet.
Not the Raw Riddle just yet, guys.
Happy
Birthday to you.
Happy because the light of it.
Happy birthday, dear Hamflett. Happy birthday to you. Is it slimed?
Thank you so much. Adam Nicholas has seen me in Tesco's, like, giddily salivating over the prospect of this specific donut because it's green.
Is it mint?
It's class, yeah.
Aero mint.
Just
Oh.
love green food and drink. I like dough.
I tried so
I like it.
I couldn't like it. So
That's right.
We'll do that later. Well done.
So we haven't got the Raw Riddle
I
though.
do actually have the
Oh, great stuff. A donut, yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
Why not? It's his birthday.
More is always more. We know this.
Keep the middle microphone on. I'm not hearing
It is now.
All right, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because producer Adam
It's just
Nicholas.
on me, by the way.
Oh.
I would have quite enjoyed that. Just your reactions at all times. Like player cam. Remember Sky Sports? That pointless.
Get that trash.
Get that piece of trash out of here.
Trash.
It's waiting for
Out of
everything
the
to fall
goddamn
down.
seat.
The whole thing to fall a bit. Hello. So, I thought, I did think about this. We needed a distraction for me to get out, but there you go. Wilborn did send it to me, though. And if I am recalling this correctly, the riddle was, the raw riddle was as follows. What can't talk, but will reply when spoken to?
Ooh. So my idea was a parrot because I don't think they can talk of their own volition.
It's all copy noise making.
Yes. They're a recording device.
Something's come to me now. Could it be Katsuyo Shibata's best friend, Siri?
I know what it is, I think.
No.
Oh, all right.
All of these might be correct in real life, but
Yes.
they aren't what he's got written down.
That's fair.
So,
Yeah.
So what's the setup again?
set up again. What can't talk, but will reply when spoken to?
A cave. Something that echoes.
Nice.
I think you've got a button for this, but I don't know where it is.
Oh my
but
God.
It's not
Oh my God! No way has he actually done it.
No, it's no, yeah, that's wrong.
Oh, wait, I went the right. Yes, go on.
Okay.
Go on, press the good one. Bingo! Now, you did say a cave, but what you also said was an echo.
An echo.
And that is, in fact, the answer, which was got by... and Wilborn said it. I'm going to have to say that. I've got to say that Wilborn said it yesterday, so I'm sorry for butchering your name twice. Zhao, sexy ass. It wasn't it, but you got to correct. A bunch of others did in the chat as well
A
yesterday.
sexy ass and a sexy
An
mind.
echo is the answer to the raw riddle. Now I float away.
Thank you, Nicholas. Adam Nicholas, our producer there.
Thank you.
Sort of up in the average for the look of this podcast as well in the brief seconds he was in the chat. And thank you for this birthday donut as well. I'm going to enjoy the rest of it when I've cleaned the desk because it looks gross now.
It's like a slug.
It does. There's a little donut snail trail. It's gross. I love it. It's green. Unlike any of, most of WWE's colours throughout the 90s, because apparently that's a new Vincent Mann quote. Did you know that? Yeah, it's green. You know, like Seth in white.
Oh,
He hated green gear. That's why he didn't get much green in WWE.
DX.
Yeah, that's how much like Shawn Michaels had his ear. It's like, well, we're going to be green. You hate it. So that was
To
like
be fair, they weren't really that. When did they get green?
mega green when they came back in like 06. And they're like, Vince goes, yeah, and they're drawing DX on the building and stuff. It was more of a brand. Yeah, it's still like the black and white.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. It's got a mint aero ball in the middle. Fills the hole.
It's a Krispy Kreme.
It's a Krispy Kreme, crispy green.
It's Krispy Kreme. There's a certain intonation that the Yanks have.
Is it? Oh, where you put the on cream instead.
No, it's just the way they talk.
It's the way they eat, and that's what I care about. If you care still about any of this, you can follow all of us at What Culture WWE, where you can also find Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
You can find me at Michael Hamflett. You can find our brilliant producer, Adam Nicholas, at It's Adam Nicholas. Follow along for all the usual stuff. And until next time, we will see you soon.